All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dr. Wole Kajola.
Yeah.
Real estate, hospitality, two very different worlds, but he seems to have conquered both. I've got some excerpts from articles he's written.
Oh, fascinating. I'm really curious to see what we can learn from this guy.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking for those key principles that he's used, things that we can all apply to whatever we're doing.
Absolutely. Sort of those universal truths of success, right? No matter what field you're in.
Right, exactly. Now, one thing that really jumped out at me from his writing was his emphasis on detail,
Mm.
both in the hotels and the real estate.
Yeah, yeah. And he's not just talking about, basic attention to detail. Like he talks about scent marketing in the Whitefield hotels,
Oh, wow.
using specific aromas in different areas of the hotel. It's incredible.
Like he's thinking on a whole other level. But doesn't that kind of meticulousness get kind of risky? Too expensive, slowing things down?
Well, I think that's a really good point. I mean, there's a balance, right? You could definitely overdo it. But Dr. Kajola seems to really emphasize that those little details, when done right, become part of the value.
Right, right. And that leads into his next point, value for money.
Hmm.
It's not about being cheap. It's about giving people something truly worth what they paid.
Yeah, he really focuses on making sure the customers feel like every mara they spend, whether it's on a hotel or buying a property, they got their money's worth. He gave this great example about lighting design in the Whitefield hotels.
Oh, right.
And it's not just about aesthetics, it's about the impact on the guest's experience, how the lighting creates a certain feeling, a mood.
And that connects back to something he said about the real estate business, like making sure every house he sells has good energy efficiency.
Oh, interesting.
Stuff that'll actually save people money in the long run.
Absolutely. Yeah, he seems to have this knack for spotting those often hidden aspects of value that really connect with people.
Yeah, it's like a sixth sense almost. Now, the next thing he did, this really threw me for a loop. He goes from real estate to hospitality.
Huh.
Talk about a big jump.
Right. It seems like a complete shift. But the more I read, the more I think I understand his reasoning. It's all about diversification, spreading the risk, creating multiple streams of income, kind of a safety net for the future.
Well, that's certainly smart thinking, but doesn't spreading yourself, too thin across different industries, doesn't that make it hard to focus on either one?
Yeah, that's a great point. There's definitely a risk there. And Dr. Cazzola even admits that he struggled to build that credibility in a completely new field. His reputation in real estate didn't just magically transfer over.
So how did he overcome that?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Well, he basically had to start from scratch in a way, building a new team, becoming an expert in a whole new industry.
Huh. So it was a real learning experience, even for someone like him.
Oh, absolutely. And it really highlights one of his key lessons, leverage what you already know, but don't be afraid to learn new things.
Right, right. So it was a strategic move, not us jumping in blindly.
Exactly. He talks about, building that strong foundation first, making sure your core business is stable before branching out.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Like setting up a base camp before you climb the mountain.
Exactly. But it's not all about the practical side, right? He's very clear that passion plays a big role.
Oh, right.
I mean, he could have gone into any industry, but he chose hospitality. Clearly, it really resonated with him.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's something to be said for, do what you love and the money will follow. But even with all that, the passion, the planning, I'm sure scaling a business, especially in a new field, is got to be tough.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He doesn't sugarcoat it. Building the right team, that was a big one for him.
Uh-huh.
He needed people who not only had the skills, but also understood his vision.
Right, right. The right people in the right spots.
Exactly. And he's also very open about the importance of delegation. You can't do everything yourself, especially when you're running multiple businesses.
Makes sense, yeah. Otherwise you just burn out, right?
Exactly. And that brings us to another one of his key insights, patience and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Building a successful business, it's a marathon, not a sprint. There are going to be setbacks. There are going to be, times when you have to learn and adapt.
Right, right. So it's about staying the course even when things get rough.
Exactly. And Dr. Gajola's story really shows that resilience. He didn't just get lucky. He planned carefully, executed meticulously, and was always adapting.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not like there's some magic formula. It's more about well, hard work and dedication and never stopping learning.
Absolutely. And that adaptability is especially important these days. Everything's changing so fast.
That's true. So if we were to boil down Dr. Kajola's journey to a few key takeaways for our listeners, what would you say what would you say are the most important things to remember? I think first and foremost, success is not a destination, it's a journey, right? You got to keep learning, keep adapting. And that takes a certain mindset. Be curious, be willing to admit when you're wrong, and face those challenges head on.
You nailed it. It's about being comfortable, being uncomfortable,
Right?
stepping outside that comfort zone, understanding that even if you don't succeed right away, you're still learning valuable lessons. Failure is just part of the process. It's what you do with it that counts.
Exactly, exactly. And those core principles that we keep coming back to, that focus on the details, on providing real value and building those relationships with your customers.
Absolutely. Those are the fundamentals. They never go out of style.
And it's all about, walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Like Dr. Kajola, he embodies those principles in everything he does.
It's true. It's really impressive.
And it reminds me of another important point, authenticity. You can tell from his writing that he's passionate about what he does.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about the bottom line for him. He wants to make a difference, build something meaningful.
Right, a legacy, not just a business, and people pick up on that.
For sure, for sure. It builds trust.
And speaking of legacy, Dr. Kajola's story really highlights that success is not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. Your values, the relationships you build, the impact you have.
You said it perfectly. It's really inspiring no matter where you are in your own journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Dr. Kajola, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I think it's this. Don't be afraid to dream big. But remember, those dreams are built on hard work, dedication, and a commitment to doing things the right way.
Yeah, you got to find that sweet spot between passion and perseverance. That's what fuels real success. It's really impressive how he built his success over time. It wasn't some overnight thing.
Yeah, he really emphasizes that constant learning, adapting, growing.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's not you don't just snap your fingers and become successful.
Right, exactly. He's been there, done that. He's faced the challenges, he's learned from them.
Yeah, you can tell he's speaking from experience.
That's what makes this so valuable, right?
Absolutely. It's not just theory, it's real world.
That's what we try to do with these deep dives, bring those practical insights, the stuff you can actually use.
Exactly, exactly. Actionable advice.
So, Dr. Kajola's journey, I think it's a great reminder that success is achievable. It's not just for a select few.
Yeah, it's not magic. It takes hard work, dedication, and a willingness to keep learning.
And a little bit of passion, right?
Oh, absolutely. That fire in your belly.
Yeah, gotta have that. Well, I think it's clear that Dr. Kajola has that in spades.
He does. He does. And it shows, in how much he cares about not just the business side of things, but about creating something positive, something meaningful.
Yeah, it's about more than just making money. It's about building something that lasts.
A legacy, yeah.
And that's really inspiring. It shows that we can all make a difference if we put in the effort and stick to our values.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's about taking a chance, stepping outside of that comfort zone. That's how we grow.
Yeah, yeah, that's where the real magic happens. So to wrap things up, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well, I guess I'd say don't be afraid to dream big, but remember that those dreams are built on a foundation of hard work, dedication, and striving for excellence.
Yeah, find that balance. Passion, purpose, and a whole lot of hustle.
That's it. That's the recipe.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of Dr. Wole Kajola.
A fascinating journey.
It really is, and we hope you found it as insightful as we did. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep on diving deep.